You did not earn this. That is the first thing to understand. You were born into a name that carries more weight than most people will ever lift in a lifetime. A name attached to a number with 9 zeros. The world will tell you this is luck. Your family will tell you this is responsibility. The truth is somewhere neither of them will admit. Here is what life actually looks like at every level when the money was never yours to begin with. Level 1. The child. You are 4 years old. You do not know you are rich. You know that your house is large. You know there are people whose job is to be near you. You know your parents are busy. You do not yet know what busy means when your family runs an empire. The Walton children, heirs to the Walmart fortune, grew up in Bentonville, Arkansas. Sam Walton drove a pickup truck. He told his children, "You are not special because of this money." He meant it, but the money did not care what he meant. At this level, wealth surrounds you like weather. You did not choose it. You do not understand it. You simply exist inside it. The private school, the security detail that follows at a careful distance, the birthday parties that look nothing like anyone else's birthday parties. None of it feels extraordinary yet. This is the most dangerous part, because normal for you is already something most people will never touch. Level 2. The teenager. You are now old enough to notice the gap. Your classmates talk about money differently than you do. They budget. They work summer jobs. They check prices before they buy things. You do not do any of these things, and for the first time, this bothers you. Not because you feel guilty, because you feel separate. The Pritzker family, heirs to the Hyatt Hotel fortune, are one of America's wealthiest dynasties. One of them, Liesl Pritzker, sued her own father at age 19. She alleged her inheritance had been systematically drained into trusts controlled by others. The lawsuit was for over $1 billion. She was a teenager when she first realized the money she assumed was hers wasn't entirely. This is what the teenage years teach you if you are paying attention. Wealth at this scale is not a bank account. It is a structure, a legal architecture with walls and corridors and locked rooms, and someone else holds most of the keys. You begin to understand that being an heir is not the same as having money. It is being adjacent to money, waiting for money, performing for money. Level 3. The student. You go to university, not just any university. Harvard, Oxford, Wharton, LSE. The places where the children of power meet the children of other power, where future CEOs practice being future CEOs, where the real education has nothing to do with the curriculum. The real education is who you sit next to. The Rockefeller family has sent its heirs to the most elite institutions for 5 generations. John D. Rockefeller III attended Princeton. His son, Richard, went to Harvard. The degree matters less than the address book you build while getting it. You study business or law or economics, something that makes sense on paper for someone in your position. But the classes feel abstract in a specific way. Case studies about companies in crisis. You sit in the lecture thinking, "My family has faced this," "My family has survived this," or "My family caused this." The professor does not know your last name means something, or perhaps they do and treat you differently because of it. You are no longer sure which is worse. You graduate. There is no career fair waiting for you. There is a meeting with the family office. Level 4. The apprentice. The family office is not what most people imagine. It is not a corner office with your name on it. It is a room where people who have worked for your family for decades explain to you, carefully, respectfully, and with great patience, that you do not yet understand what you are inheriting.
The average ultra-high net worth family office manages over $1 billion in assets. It employs lawyers, accountants, investment managers, tax strategists, and risk analysts. It has existed, in some cases, longer than you have been alive. You are handed documents, trust structures, governance frameworks, a family constitution. Yes, some families have these, outlining how decisions get made, who votes on what, and under what circumstances the money flows. The Koch brothers, Charles and David, spent decades building one of America's most powerful private empires. When their father, Fred Koch, died, the inheritance triggered a legal war between brothers. Two of them, Frederick and William, sued Charles and David, alleging fraud. The litigation lasted 15 years. 15 years, inside one family. You begin to understand. This is not just money. This is a system of relationships, obligations, and competing interests held together by legal documents and family dinners and the shared fear of what happens if it fractures. Level 5. The public heir. At some point, your name becomes news, not because you did anything, because of what you represent. Forbes runs an estimated net worth. A journalist writes a profile. Someone photographs you at an event, and the caption reads, "Heir to the family name fortune, estimated at number $1 billion." You did not ask for this. You cannot stop it. Ivanka Trump grew up in the world's most documented wealthy family. Every stage of her life, her schools, her relationships, her business ventures, was observed, analyzed, and narrated by people who had never met her. She became a brand before she became a businesswoman. Whether she chose this is a complicated question. The public version of you is not you. It is a composite of your last name, your net worth estimate, and whatever narrative is currently useful to the people writing about you. You learn to manage this. You learn what to say and what not to say. You learn that authenticity, for someone in your position, is not a personality trait. It is a communication strategy. Level 6. The proving ground. The family expects something from you now. Not gratitude, proof. Every major dynasty in history has faced the same problem. Wealth without maintenance dissolves. The saying inside old money families is blunt. Shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves in 3 generations. First generation builds it. Second generation maintains it. Third generation spends it. You are being watched to determine which generation you are. The Murdoch family placed its heirs in operational roles early. Lachlan Murdoch was managing a News Corp subsidiary in Australia in his mid-20s. James Murdoch was running Star TV in Asia before he was 30. Rupert Murdoch did not give his children the empire. He gave them auditions for it. You are in yours now. Every decision you make is watched. Every failure is noted. Every success is quietly attributed by some to the advantages you carry, and by others to the talent they are trying to assess. You can never be entirely sure which interpretation is correct. Neither can anyone else.
Level 7. The rival. No one tells you about the siblings. Or rather, everyone tells you about the siblings, but not truthfully. In public, the family is unified. In private, the family is a negotiation that never ends. The Ambani brothers, Mukesh and Anil, inherited Reliance Industries together after their father Dhirubhai died without a will. Dhirubhai Ambani built one of India's largest conglomerates from nothing. He died in 2002, leaving an empire and no instructions. Within 2 years, his sons were in open war. Their mother had to publicly intervene to divide the assets. 2 brothers, 1 empire, split publicly, messily, permanently. The Pritzker family went further.
11 family members eventually settled a legal dispute over the family trust for an amount reported to be close to $900 million among 11 cousins. You are learning something that no wealth management seminar will teach you. The greatest threat to inherited wealth is not bad investments. It is not market crashes. It is not government regulation. It is the people at the same dinner table as you. Level 8. The operator. You now run something, a division, a foundation, a subsidiary, a fund, something real with employees and obligations and quarterly results. This is where the gap between inherited position and earned authority becomes something you feel every day. The people who work for you are professionals. They have built careers through expertise and performance. They answer to you because of your last name. Some of them respect you. Some of them tolerate you. Some of them are waiting to see if you are real. Bill Ford, great-grandson of Henry Ford, became chairman of Ford Motor Company in 1999. He was 42 years old and had worked at Ford in various roles for nearly 2 decades. Still, when he took the chair, a significant portion of the investor community publicly questioned whether a family member should lead the company at all. Eventually, he stepped down as CEO in 2006, hiring Alan Mulally to run operations. The decision was widely praised as a sign of self-awareness. It was also, quietly, one of the hardest things he ever did. To lead well, you must be willing to acknowledge what you cannot do. For an heir, that acknowledgement carries a particular weight, because somewhere in the admission is the question you cannot escape. Would I be here if my name were different? Level 9. The philanthropist. At a certain point, the money becomes a problem to solve, not in the way most people imagine, not a shortage, a surplus, of scale, of responsibility, of expectation. The Giving Pledge, launched by Bill Gates and Warren Buffett in 2010, has been signed by over 200 billionaires worldwide. The pledge is a commitment to give the majority of their wealth to charitable causes. Many of the signatories are first-generation wealth creators. Their heirs are watching, knowing what this means for the inheritance. The Rockefeller family created one of the most institutionalized philanthropic empires in history. The Rockefeller Foundation was established in 1913. It has outlasted every political administration, every market cycle, every scandal, and every generation of Rockefellers since John D. the First. The foundation now manages nearly $7 billion in assets. None of that money will ever belong to a Rockefeller again. For you, philanthropy is not optional. It is part of the identity structure your family maintains. It is how the family justifies the scale of what it holds. Whether you believe in the cause is a separate question. Whether the cause benefits from your involvement, even more separate. Studies on philanthropic effectiveness consistently show that donor intent and actual community impact are not the same thing. Often, they are very different things. You write the check. Your name goes on a building. The building stands. The question of whether any of it helped remains complicated. Level 10. The custodian. You are now the senior generation. Your parents have stepped back, or they have died, and everything, the assets, the obligations, the family dynamics, the staff, the lawyers, the board seats, the foundation, the reputation, has passed to you. The word used inside these families is custodian, not owner, custodian. Because the wealth at this scale is understood to be larger than any individual. You do not own it. You steward it for the next generation. The Rothschild family has operated on this principle for over 200 years. Founded in Frankfurt in the late 1700s by Mayer Amschel Rothschild, the family built a pan-European banking empire by placing sons in 5 different cities: London, Paris, Frankfurt, Naples, Vienna. The structure was designed to survive any single point of failure, any war, any political shift, any individual death. 250 years later, the family is still operating. This is what the custodian understands that the heir does not. The money is not the point. The continuity is the point. The system that generates and preserves and distributes the money, that is what you protect. You begin making decisions you will never see the results of. Investments with 30-year horizons. Trust structures designed for grandchildren not yet born. You are planning for people who do not yet exist. Level 11, the dynasty. The family name is now an institution. It appears in history books, in the names of hospitals, universities, concert halls, and public parks, in the names of financial instruments, economic theories, and political movements that carry the family's fingerprints even when the name itself is absent. The Kennedys are not primarily remembered as wealthy. They are remembered as a dynasty, a political and cultural force that shaped American history for the better part of the 20th century. But the foundation was always financial. Joseph Kennedy built the fortune through banking, real estate, and Hollywood. The money created the political possibility. The politics created the myth. The myth outlived the money. At this level, the family is larger than any individual member of it. You exist in relation to the name, more than the name exists in relation to you. New members, spouses, in-laws, must be assessed, not for love, not for compatibility, for alignment. Prenuptial agreements at this level are not about protecting assets. They are about protecting the structure, the system, the continuity. One wrong marriage can expose the family to legal risk, reputational damage, or the dilution of control over assets that took generations to consolidate. Romance inside a dynasty is never entirely private. Level 12, the weight. Here is what nobody says out loud. The wealth does not make it easier, it makes it different. Studies on inherited wealth consistently show elevated rates of anxiety, depression, and identity disorder among ultra-high net worth heirs. The clinical term used by therapists who specialize in this population is sudden wealth syndrome. Though for heirs it is not sudden, it is ambient, permanent, inescapable. Jamie Johnson, heir of the Johnson & Johnson pharmaceutical fortune, made a documentary film called Born Rich in 2003. He interviewed other ultra-wealthy heirs about their relationship to inherited money. Several of them refused to participate. Several who did participate later regretted it. One, Ivanka Trump, publicly distanced herself from her own interview. The discomfort of being seen was greater than any other discomfort, because the core question, the one that runs beneath every decision, every relationship, every professional achievement, never fully disappears. Who would I be without this? Most heirs never answer it, because answering it would require giving up the one thing they were handed before they could decide whether they wanted it, and almost none of them give it up. The Walton family, heirs to the Walmart fortune, collectively hold over $200 billion. They are, by most measures, the wealthiest family in American history. Sam Walton, the founder, died in 1992. He left behind a retail empire, a family governance structure, and a simple instruction: stay together. They have. The money has grown. The name has endured. And somewhere in Bentonville, Arkansas, a fourth-generation Walton is growing up inside a world they did not choose and will spend their entire life trying to understand. That is what it means to be an heir. Not ownership, inheritance. The weight of something that was already there before you arrived and will remain long after you are gone.